Hey, salutations, everyone. Salutations. Hope everybody's doing all right. Pardon the background noise. I'm outside. I'm outside. You know, I'm actually literally at the bus stop, minus the lollipop. So I just thought I'd chat with you guys, you know, until the bus arrives. And, you know, I'm running some errands. I'm doing some things. And so, you know, I hope everyone is blessed in the name of the Lord. Speaking of the Lord, I heard Marvin Sapp got remarried. So I mean, he's been a widower for some time now. So congrats to him. And I'm hearing some stuff about Brian Karn. I'm not sure what the situation is. I think has something to do with his choir or something. I don't know, but you know, you hear stuff out there. But I want to just do a quick little PSA about your health, right? Because one of the errands I'm going to run is I'm going to be picking up the what I need to prepare myself for my colonoscopy. And so I know that usually you don't get a colonoscopy this soon, because I got one done around 2019, I believe. And you know, because you know you're supposed to get it done like at a certain age. And then after that, it's like every 10 years or something like that. But I got to get it done like a little, in smaller intervals. I got to get it done sooner because my bloodline, my uncle had a bout with it. You know, thank God it's been removed. It removed in time. But since he had a bout with it, you know, since he's so close to my bloodline, you know, I have to kind of get a screening sooner. So my point is that, you know, it's just very important to get whatever screenings, whatever, just monitor your health. Keep track of your health. Go get your get your physicals done. Keep up with your doctor visits, screenings for the women out there, breast exams, and for men out there too, because you know men get breast cancer as well. So just keep up with your screening. So that's my little PSA to y'all. Because I have to go to the pharmacy and pick up that stuff. So that's one of my stops. So you know, I just thought I'd chat with you guys, and you see the cars. You know, you hear the cars going by. And so I just hear, you know, just hearing about a lot about the Brandy and Wanya situation that occurred years ago. Because you know, Brandy got her memoir out called Phases, and so she spoke on that. And so she felt like she was taken advantage of, like her admiration for him was taken as, you know, ulterior motive, when it came to Wanya, which I understand that, right? So I want to just kind of dig into a little bit, and I'm going to have an unpopular opinion at some point. I'm sure I will, because yes, we understand Wanya was in his 20s. I think he was 22 or 23 when they got together. And when you look back at the interview with the Breakfast Club, it's like he tried to rationalize it, tried to clear things up to say, well, you know, she wasn't that young. You know, she was like 16 or 17 when we did the thing. You know, just so arrogant about it. And so it was just the way, but we all was aware of the situation that happened at that time, and how the grooming process could take place in different scenarios, and we all are aware of how that situation, how Adina Howard sabotaged her career over this. You know, like you're fighting a teenager over a dude, you know, and to the point where they sabotage your career, and their careers are still flourishing. So sometimes you got to think about your actions, you know. And I know she has, Adina Howard later on, and years later took accountability of how she sabotaged her career. And shout out to her, because I'm a fan of Adina Howard nonetheless. But we're gonna call a thing a thing, But anywho, you gotta understand that as much as we want to, we have to hold Wanya accountable for dealing with a 16-year-old, a minor, as an adult. There's some accountability needs to go to Brandy as well. And I know, because she was aware of what she was doing. She said she snuck out to see him. She lied to her parents about it. And, we do those things. As teenagers, we think we're grown. We think we know it all. And we purposely, it's like a lot of times when And I'm not, and when I say we, I'm just generalizing. I'm not trying to put myself in that category because I was not, in the a situation where as a minor I, dated someone that was an adult, that was, I wasn't even dating that much at all because I was an ugly duckling back then, so it was like nobody was checking for me, but I just want to make sure that I put out there that a lot of times when you have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, teenagers under 18 years old, a lot of times they are very intentional about becoming involved with an adult. And I'm talking about teenage boys and girls, because I know a lot of times the spotlight, it tends to be on an adult man. But there are a lot of grown-ass women out here that are, that be, messing with, younger boys as well. Because if you have conversations with a lot of men out here, a lot of them will actually tell you that they lost their virginity to someone's auntie, or someone they looked at as an auntie, or a babysitter, or a mother's best friend. You have those stories, right? So it goes both ways. So, but I just want to make sure that you understand how, as parents, as adults, we have to understand our teenagers when they get older, and when they start to explore and I talk about self-discovery a lot during my interviews, and that happens a lot between junior high and high school. And a lot of these teenagers are very intentional when they become involved with an adult, So I understand that there are, young, impressionable, naive, I get it. There are times they are taken advantage of, and I get it, because they think they know it all, but they really don't. We think we know it all at that age, but they still are more aware enough. They know enough to know better. They are aware enough, because a lot of times they lie about their age, they get fake IDs, they go into these clubs, and they are aware of how old these men and women are. They are aware, just like the adults are aware. So I just want to make sure the accountability goes both ways when it comes to these situations, because there are, adults that prey on these young, impressionable minds, and they mind F them, They do whatever they can do to mold them and to make them believe that they're mature for their age, You hear those a lot too, So yeah, just be mindful of that as well. That the accountability, because they are, they do, and these teenagers entertain these men and these women. They do, and they are intentional. They, the spotlight is on them so much to where there's a show, that's designed around this. It's called Teen Mom, right? We have Teen Mom, that they're having children, they're making adult decisions. Okay, so just be mindful of that, and I also remember, like, even when you talk about R. Kelly and Aaliyah, and all the other young women that he's been involved in, we hold the parents accountable as well, because they were aware of the circumstances involved, but they were so focused on their bottom line to where they was willing to sacrifice their daughters, with a grown man in order to get to their bottom line, because they understood what their end game was. So that accountability goes to the parents and also to the teenagers, because a lot of times, as some of us as parents, we do our best to instill God, and we do our best to instill morals and standards, right? We do our best, but we're not always watching them 24/7. You expect for them to go to school, you expect for them to go straight home. And, if they go out to certain places, you expect them to be responsible. You expect for them to do whatever that you taught them to do, but they're going to do the opposite of that. Just like Brandy said that she snuck out to be with Wanye. Just like Aaron Hall's son's mother went into the clubs acting grown at 16 years old, and she had a child at 16, 17 years old with a grown Aaron Hall. But Aaron Hall did not know that she was underage until there was a time where they went to vacation in Jamaica or something like that, and they needed IDs, and come to find out she was underage. So she didn't know at that time, but unfortunately, that still didn't stop him from still continuing, to mess around with this young girl. So again, I'm not excusing I will not condone it. But that's not just, I'm just making sure that you understand that just because I don't condone it, it doesn't mean that, this hasn't been a thing for, since forever. Like, we're not going to act as if this doesn't happen very often where, the age of consent in different states is different. But a lot of times, a lot of these relationships are consensual by the teenagers, and they are more aware than you think. They're not just out here. Yes, there are certain areas in their lives that they are naive about, but they are very much aware of what they're doing when they do it. A lot of times they know exactly what they're doing and what they get into, and they know that these people are adults. Because I see, like, in junior high school, it goes back to junior high school when, they be out here in these streets. Because I remember I went to junior high school with someone who that she was 13 at the time, and she was in a relationship with a man in her 30s, and she had her first child with that person. So I'm about to get on the bus now, but but I'm still gonna talk a little bit more. I don't know if you're able to hear me, because like I said, there's so much background noise, but I just thought I'd just talk to y'all. Give me 1 second, please. 1 second. Hello. Alrighty. I'll just. Alrighty. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I had to pay my fare. So so I know that it's very loud right now, so I'm not gonna hold you, but I just want to give my perspective on that, and just like I said, just make sure that I just want to kind of just remind people to be responsible, whatever it is that you do. Even if you find someone attractive enough, give them a chance to live their lives. Don't try to, taint the minds of an impressionable youth. Don't take their minds just because you can't see past what you want. Just focus on your own age group, and with the youth out here, focus on school, focus on church, focus on being responsible enough to date, and not try to rush into being grown. Don't you rush to get old. Shout out to that artist Junior. Mama used to say, take your time, young man. Mama used to say, don't you rush to get old. Yeah, like I said, sometimes just live your life. You don't have to rush into anything that is going to hinder you from growing and maturing. You know what I mean? Just wait, just weigh it out. You have your time, but like I said, in the meantime, you can have fun. Have fun and date. And get to know certain individuals without feeling like you'll have to tie yourself down to someone that is out of your league, so to speak. And like I said, as adults, we got to be more responsible as adults and as parents, all around, across the board. And just, like I said, instead of trying to mold and groom an impressionable mind, challenge yourself to have some sustainability with someone who's within your age group, someone who's more mature, someone, that you're able to build with, and if that's not within your reach yet, if that standard is not being met, like I said, just work on yourself to where you're able to get to that point. But in the meantime, I just wanted to like I said, just chat with you guys. I'm on the bus right now. I hope that you guys were able to hear me okay, despite the background noise, and just continue to flourish. And thank you so much for those of you that was in the building with me last night. I had a great interview with Chandra, the Shoe Lady Ayers. So please make sure you check out that interview. It was great. It was a blessing to have her on there. She's a writer, director, producer of many of the Tubi movies that you see. So it's just been a blessing to have her on. And so the next interview I'm going to have is on Thursday, April 9th, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Jeff Stewart. He's an actor, motivational speaker, musician that's going to be on Mentor, as well. So make sure you check that out. I'm going to have the flyer out real soon. In the meantime, because I don't want y'all to be distracted by the noise, but I just wanted to make sure that I just chat with you guys a little bit. And so in the meantime, have a good one.